we also refer to this as a point of destination tourist attraction for Kalamazoo, because the closest museum of African American history is in Grand Rapids. That's an hour away. And then the next closest museum for African American history is the Charles Wright Museum, which is in Detroit. That's 2 hours and 10 minutes away. I visited Charles Wright Museum. I think it's a wonderful edifice. However, we need something that's closer to home. You know, there are a lot of young people out here that don't have personal transportation. Of course, you know, the little kids who need to have their minds stimulated, okay? A lot of folks, even African Americans, don't know our history or our heritage. If you follow us from slavery to this point in time, you will know that slave masters forbid their slaves from being educated. That way they could maintain control over them, because an educated person eventually will learn things that will enable them to earn their freedom, okay, and to maintain their freedom and the like. So what we're trying to do is reverse what has happened in the past of the African American community here in the United States by teaching. As a matter of fact, I'll add scripture here from Proverbs. The Bible tells us, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So it is a duty of all of us to really begin the process of training the next generation, so that they will be able to pass it on, and that way we will be able to also open the minds of many folks who might be prejudiced or racist or whatever, because they don't know a lot about what's going on in our past and our present. So, you know, they will try to undermine our future.
So I want to start by saying there's been so many people that have come before us that have talked about this idea for decades, and I do want to honor the work and the ideas and strategies that have been talked about by many Kalamazoo residents over the years. I really do appreciate the board of directors and Pastor Stein kind of taking this vision and actually running with it. My understanding is that Bronco's Kitchen will be the initial fiduciary. So we've got a nonprofit with that framework set up that can start receiving funds immediately. I also want to take a step back and say I think it's so important to know our history and to know how Kalamazoo was formed and to know all the rich culture and education and treasures that have had significant impact and contributions by our African American community. I was so amazed when I had the privilege of touring through the Washington, D.C. African American History Museum, and I was so proud as I went through that museum to see a significant amount of contributions were from Michigan and from African Americans from Michigan, particularly in education and the arts. And so I think it's important to uplift, whether we're talking about Moses Walker or Dr. Charles Warfield or Cale Street, who integrated the first Kalamazoo Public Schools. We have so much to learn and so much to remember, and I'm just very proud to be a part of this important initiative.